Welcome to EduSpeak. I'm your host, Nick Shanmac. Welcome to the show where we talk about all things education in Southwest Washington and across the state. And we're going to jump right into it with our first guest from Washougal High School, the culinary instructor there. Her name is Brenda Hitchins, and she has just been named ESD 112's Regional Teacher of the Year. Brenda, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations, ESD 112 Teacher of the Year. How did it feel when you heard that news?
Well, I read the email and I had to read it twice. And then I went next door and got my teacher buddy next door. I said, come and read this. And then she started screaming. And then I got this butterflies in my stomach, just like, oh my gosh, and then I was happy. I was just elated, and everybody came and congratulated me. And then I thought about, well, okay, now the next steps. So I'm already, because I've always done the next steps. What's the next step? So the only good is your last cake. That's the way I was raised. So
yeah, well, enjoy it. Well deserved. Can you talk a little bit about how long you've been teaching?
So I was born and raised in Las Vegas, and I was in the casinos down there for over 30 years as pastry chef, executive pastry chef, assistant executive chef, so many of those jobs. And through that time, there was a teacher that I mentored at Las Vegas High School. They had this competition, Pro Start. And she says, would you come and would you help my kids? So I went and I came and I coached her kids, and we took second. And she says, you know what, you'd be a really good teacher. I said, no. And she says, no, really, you connected with the kids, and you did all these things. So the recession hit in 2008. And during that time, we were being asked to really cut our staff in the casinos. And then, so I said, well, I got to think about my future of what I really, because it's not about the money for me. It's about how I can leave something better than when I first got it. So I started getting all my CTE degrees, because I don't have a bachelor's degree. I have an AA degree, and I got all that done. I got my teacher's license. And then in 2010, I got a phone call. And so I started teaching at a career technical academy in Las Vegas for 6 years. And then in 2016, moved up to Washougal, which, I wanted to get out of Vegas. It was like, I'm done. It's hot. Don't like it. Don't like the casinos anymore. I'm done. So, and then here I am 5 years later.
Yeah. So just to fill in folks watching, can you describe the courses that you teach? What are you focusing on when you're working with kids?
So, intro to culinary, baking and pastry right now. I wasn't too sure about advanced this year because, you really got to have the hands for it to go into advanced. So this past year, I just did intro and baking and pastry. Being
a teacher of the year, are there some things that you can point to that you think are unique to your style of teaching, or things that you really stress when presenting ideas to students?
I have to read the room. So when I look out on these kids and I see kids kind of dropping their heads or something, I know immediately I have to change. I have to start cooking with them or doing something, because they really don't like the talking to them. So I'm lucky that I can really switch gears very quickly and do something. Okay, let's get some carrots. Let's practice our knife skills. Let's get some flowers. Let's determine different types of flowers. So in that sense, I'm lucky. And if at all, reading the room is important, and developing their skills as individuals, getting to know them. I do this form at the beginning of the year, and then I'll walk by and I'll say a little tidbit of what I got from their form. They'll look at me and I go, yeah, I read those forms, because it's important that I know you. And then there's something that we have in common to talk about other than, food. And then this is the first year that I did it. We really dove into the history month. Then we dove into Louisiana, more importantly. And then we dove into, and they researched a chef or somebody that contributed to the way we eat now and the foods that we have now. And the kids, I was just reading one just got turned in, Edna Lewis, and it was just, and she goes, I hope to get her a book one day and, learn more about her. And then for me, that's a win. That little light bulb that says, I want to go further.
Yeah. And obviously looking back at this school year, for everyone in education, teachers, students, administrators, it's been a massive challenge. What has it been like for you?
I got depressed with the black screens. I really did. I was doing demos at home. I was sending kits home. I was pulling every rabbit I had out of my hat, just trying to get these kids to hopefully do something. And then I started getting the work in. They were taking pictures of themselves. They were doing the work. They were showing it. And then they had to do an evaluation, and everybody loved it. And, so that was a win for me. But it was in that beginning, it was so hard. It was, there was nothing coming back, and it was hard. I mean, it's the hardest thing I've ever done personally. Yeah. And I've opened casinos, 24 hours a day. I mean, and that was hard, getting motivated and fired up for these kids.
Well, you made it through the year, and congratulations on your recognition as Teacher of the Year. Just an amazing accomplishment. Before we go, is there anything that you'd like to say to your students, to your fellow teachers and folks in Washougal as we enter the summer break?
The thing that I don't want to happen is that the conversation that has started because of COVID and because of circumstances that have happened, I hope the conversation doesn't stop. I hope that we can create a level playing field at some point, maybe hopefully in my lifetime, for everybody to have. And I hope that we continue to give those kids opportunities, especially through CTE, that they know they really don't need a 4-year degree. They can get a 2-year degree, and then they can get trades and, learn on the job. I mean, they don't have to just think of that one thing. They can think of other things to find their passion. I mean, I went to college. I didn't know I have over 200 credits and no degree. That's what tells you I didn't know what I wanted to do. I played college basketball. So for me, it was all about playing college basketball. And then I was sweeping floors in a bakery, right? And then I fell in love with what I was doing. Well
said, Brenda. Again, just a well-deserving recognition. Congratulations. And I'm sure we'll be able to keep hearing about the great things that you're doing in your classes years to come. So thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, if you'd like to learn more about Brenda's Regional Teacher of the Year recognition, head to our website, esd112.org/news. Now, my next guest on today's show is with ESD 112's ECE, or Early Care and Education program, which provides an array of services to children in our community, among them child care services. And this summer, there's one Vancouver location in particular that's going to be providing school-age summer care for families in the community. So I'm pleased to welcome on Shanell Clouse, who's a continuous quality improvement specialist with the ECE program. All right, Shanell, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
So we're here to talk a little bit about ECE and some of the what makes this program unique, in a sense. I think the connection to schools. On that topic, we've got summer here, and so I thought it'd be interesting to hear you talk a little bit about the importance of continuing education during the summer months. So school is out, and now kids are home, or they're doing summer activities. So from your perspective in your role, what are those benefits? What have you seen?
Yeah. So, kids, they come to our program and we're providing, we're open from 6:30 in the morning until 6 in the afternoon, in the evening. And so parents have an opportunity to drop off anytime during that time and pick up during that time. So we're really, we're really convenient and everything for families and stuff too. But also at the same time, we're providing a lot of really fun activities for the kids to keep them engaged. And what we like to say is we are extending that learning from their school time. And we even do that in the summertime too. It's much different than what you would see in a general education type of learning environment with the seats, with the chairs and everything, their desks. We would be teaching that a lot of that differently. And so, for example, learning math, for the kids, they might be learning math and utilizing their math skills by cooking, doing baking and measuring and things like that. We might be doing science projects and being able to kind of do more hands-on type things, hands-on learning that maybe they wouldn't had an opportunity to do that in their school environment. We might do scavenger hunts outside to go find bugs or something like that, and then find books that really kind of highlighted what that bug was and to talk about it. We give kids an opportunity to really engage in their environments, but we also provide an activity every day for the kids, at least 2 to 3 activities every day for the kids. That's really led by the staff. And it's also developed by the children. We really want the kids to have their own voice in the program. So we listen really carefully to what they're interested in. So if it's like Pokemon, if they're really interested in that for that week, we'll develop a whole week's worth of lesson planning or curriculum that's kind of centered around Pokemon. So, but kind of within that curriculum, we have objectives. And so what do we want the kids to be learning this week? It might be a social skill where they might be learning, we want them to learn respect. And so we would weave that in all of the curriculum that we're doing in our programming for that week.
Yeah, so maybe for the parent that is trying to figure out what can I have my child do during the summer? Yeah. It sounds like it's sort of finding a balance between, not overloading a young mind when they're, giving them a true break before school in the fall, but, still having those educational elements in there. And it sounds like from what you're describing, those are some really, there's a lot of creative ways you can do that.
Yes, we are fortunate to have a really fantastic group of staff that really work together to want to provide these fun experiences for kids. And we utilize a lot of social emotional curriculum as well in our programs too. So we are, wanting to teach the kids to build those social emotional skills, to learning how to take turns, learning how to be patient and all those things that as adults sometimes we struggle with. So, we definitely are trying, or we definitely have a group of staff that really recognize that that's something that is really needed, to teach children. And so again, we are weaving all of that through that. So yeah, we try our best to provide a lot of really fundamental type experiences for children that are learning a lot of these things, that are just learning some of these things, and also make it a really fun experience for them too, to so that they continue to want to keep coming back day in, day out, and they and they go home and tell their families, I had a really great day today and here's what I did, or be able to go home and show them something that they had done that day too. So, that's what we want. And to tell their friends like, hey, I did this and this was really fun. And, and then their friend wants to come and join too. So
for sure. Yeah. And so the location that you're at, remind folks where that is exactly.
Yeah, so we are going to be, it's called 28th Street Childcare. It's located just off of Burton, kind of over by where the Peter S. Ogden Elementary School is, kind of in that neighborhood. And so we have, I think, 6 classrooms that we're going to be having there. So, and all in that same building.
Great. And so folks that might be interested in that can check out the ECE website. What's another way, good way? Is that the best way for them to?
Yeah, it is right on our ECE, the ECE website. There should be an enroll now or get some more information about how to sign your child up for that. And then it will connect directly to our enrollment team and to be able to talk to one of them.
Great. And so, I just want to circle back. We prefaced this conversation with just a little bit of discussion about how your program is a little bit different than a typical childcare because there is a connection to the school districts.
Yes.
So how have you seen that specific element benefit kids?
Yeah, that's great. I think probably the best thing about our program is that we have such a great relationship with our school district partners. We are constantly, I know our directors are constantly in contact with their teachers, with the paraeducators, with principals, secretaries, even the custodian. We are in constant contact with them about their child's progress. Maybe if they've had a particularly rough afternoon and they come into our program, we're able to really connect with that teacher and that teacher can give us, a heads up like, hey, here's what happened, so that we're really prepared and really set up for that success. And so, we can help that child ease into our program a little bit easier to really be able to have a much better afternoon. Or be a little more sensitive to what might be going on. So, it's a really great partnership. And then also we're constantly, talking with the teachers about what they're learning in school too, so that we can extend that learning into our program. Making sure that, we're all on the same page for a child to make sure that they succeed in school and in our program.
All right, Shanell, Clouse, well, thank you for coming on the show and talking a little bit about your program. And I really like the scavenger hunt idea, sort of a summer activity. I think I'm going to steal that one and go out with my daughter here and do
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time.
You're welcome. No problem.
All right, that'll do it for this episode of EduSpeak. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you want to see more content like this, hit us up on our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow us there. We're on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe so you won't miss an episode, and we will see you next time.